goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for rock.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all... God almighty,
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like, seriously. I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Tonight we have some summertime festival banter with a triple collabo, along with Dan Drago of 25 O'Clock Pod and Nate Runkle from Yo, That's My Jawn. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be
Your next favorite band.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Phillip Reese. Let's see if they know what to do.
I'm Nate Runkle. Did I do it?
Yep.
And I'm Dan Drago. And I what did I say in pre-roll? And I'm not a joiner, so like I don't know how to participate in things in the way.
And
that
you
Phil
are
wanted
listening to
your next favorite band.
Yes, we did it.
I joined. I'm sorry.
I deliberately did not bring that up in pre-show just to see how that would go.
Exactly the way that it was gonna go. Yeah.
Guys, let me try something out here. What about your 25 next favorite Johns?
Or I was going to think it was, yo, it's 25 o'clock, time for my next favorite Jawn. That's what I was going with.
Okay. Hey, I'll take it all.
That's it. No, that's it, everyone. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yes.
This is the episode where we break down what we should call ourselves.
Yes.
It's going to go on for
the
a
next
while.
48 minutes will be the... you know that when you can buy the Shakespeare's Hamlet in magnets for your refrigerator and you can mix them all up?
Oh, wow. That's
what we're going to do. It's a lot of magnets.
That's a lot of magnets.
Well, it may not be all of the words, but...
Oh. Well, I'm sure he used some of the words twice, like the and Hamlet.
Twas.
Yeah,
it was probably a good
Dost.
Alas,
yeah, there was definitely
Yorick, I knew you well. Magnet.
Wow, if that was all one. But yeah, so we are thrilled to have back in December. We brought this. What was the 3-person Voltron, Nate?
That is the Gladiator Voltron.
Got it. So we brought the Gladiator Voltron together for the WXPN 885 Greatest Songs by Women, and we had such an amazing time with that. We decided, why not bring it back together? And so what we thought this time was, let's just talk about the summer festival season.
Yes, it is upon us.
It sure is. And so for those people who, may not know, here is Dan Drago's 25 O'Clock Pod opening music, and then we can have you talk over the top of it and introduce yourself.
Okay. We need to get new photos.
I did not take these photos.
No, I didn't either. How could I?
The internet is undefeated.
I'm Dan Drago. I'm the host of 25 O'Clock, Philadelphia's longest running music podcast, I think.
That's my favorite part when you say I think.
Best. It's
I'm
the
still.
best.
I mean, it's one. It's become part of the thing, and two. What's mostly it? It's become part of the thing, and it's like a knee-jerk reaction. And I just
love when you go
say it
1
every
and 2. Well, we're going back to 1.
Yeah. But no, I've been interviewing Philadelphia artists, creatives, music community people since 2014. So fall of this year is the 10-year, the big 1-0 for the show.
And you hit the big 300 earlier this year.
300. My first show of 2024 was my 300th episode, where I interviewed the amazing Dave Osikinen. He's the drummer for the Hooters and also the founder of the In the Pocket project, and an all-out righteous dude.
Totally.
Yes.
And you are on 300 plus episodes of nothing but Philadelphia musicians and music adjacent.
Yep.
Dan, how do you even follow up 300? Like, what was 301?
Brian Walker.
It was.
Wait, wasn't it me?
No, it was you, and then it was Brian Walker.
God
No,
damn
you're
it.
right.
Come on, I teed that up.
Oh,
Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Oh, wait, this is live.
I'll edit it.
That's right. No, and then Brian was after you.
Yes.
Well, you know what? When I did 200, I believe 201 was Brian.
Okay.
And then I think in
He's
my
always
head,
around the century mark.
and then I thought in my head that I was going to make him 301, but then we did you. No, you're right. Yeah, you were 301.
And the reason why I thought that was accurate was he was 101 for our show.
Weird.
Brian Walker was episode 101 for us.
Brian loves the bat and the 2 spot. Like, and that's and your 2 spot batter is really, really
Sneaky
important.
great.
Yeah. They need to be good, because if your 1 spot gets on base, then your
Gotta
second
keep it going.
roster's got to
Keep the rally going.
get them going, maybe get an RBI off of that or something.
Right.
This is the most sports I will ever talk about publicly.
You know what's funny is we were talking sports the last time we got together, when we started talking about the stats of the when you said that you could get into sports if you were just following stats alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because
I think the best
I'm a
sports
fish
reference
head.
you ever did was you pre-recorded your episode that was going to air right after the Super Bowl, and you recorded multiple openings. One where the Eagles won, one where the Eagles lost, and then one where, like, at halftime, an alien came down and vaporized everybody.
Yeah,
and I thought that was genius.
I was covering
All the bases.
the 3 things that could happen. We
Right,
win,
the 3
we
most
lose.
plausible outcomes.
Yeah,
It worked. It worked much better for you. What I did was I was at a Super Bowl party, and I took a portable recorder with me because I was going to record everyone's cheers, and then we lost, and I was like, "Fuck, this is dumb. I'm not doing a podcast ever again."
No, then you record the tears.
That's
No,
right.
because they were mine. You would hear no one else but me sobbing.
All right, so welcome to the
Never
show.
spoke.
Dan Drago, 25 o'clock pod. Now let's welcome Nate Runkle from Yo, That's My Jawn. Here's your opening music. Can you, Ed, can you do this opening?
Can I do it live?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. Hold on. That's my Jawn. Yo,
displace the guilt and embrace the pleasure. You taste in things that don't need to be measured. You ain't being judged, you won't get a score. So what the fuck is you faking it for?
If you
Love
like
it.
you like it, yeah, man. This guy flows.
He's got flow. He is Nate 3.0.
That's right. The bars come. The bars come. I do want to say one thing about this this theme song, and that is that there are music elements in there that come up multiple times, kind of like the check sound and kind of the feedback and stuff like that. And that is all from a sample pack by Sarah Tudson from Illuminati Hotties, and she gave me permission to use it in the theme song. So
That's fantastic.
yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
sir.
So I like to say that's Nate 3.0 featuring Illuminati Hotties on the theme song to Yo, That's My Jawn.
So my question is, what happened to 1 and 2.0?
So it's funny. Everybody seems to think that it's like a computer reference and stuff like that, but it's actually a grade point average reference, because back when we used to perform, I was in a band called the Impact Players with my friend Randy Major, and we would always end up in like battle of the bands and stuff like that in competitions, and we would always take second place. So I named myself Nate 3.0 as an above average performer, but never the best, which is so
A solid B.
antithetical. Yeah, I'm a solid B. That's right. So people are always like, when does the upgrade go through? And I'm like, when I get better.
You are
That's a good answer.
you are Nate both post breakup and post hiatus.
That's right.
For those of you Fish fans at home, it's Nate 3.0. Real quick aside, because we will talk about Fish at some point. Do you think 4.0 is real? I don't.
No, I don't.
Oh, go right on, man. Okay, because then every band is in 2.0. The reference, folks, is that after Fish was in 3.0 era, after the pandemic, and they came back to play shows again, just like everyone else. The thing is like, oh, it's Fish 4.0 now, and I'm like, that's not true because everyone had to take that pause,
except for Kid Rock. I think
except for Kid Rock and Reverend Horton Heat, but you know.
Right. Yeah. But yeah,
so Fish is playing, right? Is Fish playing this summer around this area? Let me just preface this. So we are going to talk about shows for the summertime. It's going to be hopefully enjoyable for anybody. It's very focused in the Philly, Lehigh Valley centric, like Eastern Pennsylvania, Western New Jersey area. But these are bands that are touring everywhere, and so like if we talk about somebody today that isn't, you might like what you hear, they're probably going to be coming near you too. So just look it up, and we'll do our best to kind of give it to you, or reach out to us and we'll let you know. But Fish coming to the Philly-ish area, right?
Dover. They're going to be playing their 4-day. It's a 4-day festival. The first festival since the ill-fated Super Bowl got canceled. So there is a difference between a 3-night run of Fish, much like we saw in Atlantic City in, 2021?
Yeah.
Time is a flat circle.
2022, I think.
2022. Unlike the 3-night run of them in Atlantic City in 2022, or like a 2-night run at the Man, a festival is a 4 days of the band. And I already know people are rolling their eyes. 4 days? My God. What are they going to do? Play one song? We should be so lucky.
How great would that be?
But a festival has a lot of art and just a lot of experiential stuff going on around it that sort of elevates it above just like a show run at a shed or a big thing.
So I'm not a Fish person. Like I like their music. I'm like maybe the one person who's like, oh, that's fine by me, but like
there are many,
I just more mean like a lot of times it's very like, you either love it or like what's going on. I would recommend somebody before you make any judgment, go see a show, like go experience it before you make any kind of a judgment around like anything. As I would probably say that's pretty good advice for anything. If you have a strong opinion on something you've never experienced, you're probably not qualified.
Yeah. But anyway, so they're playing 4 days in Dover. It's called the Mondegreen Festival. They just released single day tickets, which I guess the packages weren't selling. So they
real.
That's
because that was my hold off. I was like, I'm too old to camp a whole weekend. I can't do it. But a single day I might pull off.
We should talk after because I may, but I'm going to do at least 2 of the 3 nights in Bethel Woods. Because I've never been to the venue, Bethel Woods, the site or adjacent site of the original Woodstock, and it's a beautiful outdoor amphitheater, and I've never been. And one of my best friends from high school lives 20 minutes down the road from it, so we're going.
Yeah. Well, so I guess the other thing too is like I think all 3 of our shows try to bring a music discovery element to the audience, and most people already know Fish, whether they love it or hate it. The other bands that are playing this summer, Rolling Stones, Willie Nelson's Picnic.
No one's ever heard of them either, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Bob Dylan is somehow a lower font somehow on that show. But and then Dada's got a reunion tour. So there's a bunch of stuff out there that people already know about. What we're going to focus on is the stuff that you may not already know about. And so we're going to shine a light on the stuff that we hope you might take an interest in because you trust us to say that's worth your time. And so that's mostly what we're going to focus on today. And one behind us, I didn't get to go to it for multiple reasons, but I wanted to kind of bring up Sing Us Home, because that tends to be, for this area, the gateway into the festival season. And Dan, I know you were there.
Yeah. I went to the first day. It rained a lot on the Saturday and Sunday, And as is my thing, I did the same thing for XPN Fest when it rained out. I did not attend. Well, I had somewhere to be the following week, and I thought the last thing I needed to do was arrive there after having stood outside in like high 50-degree weather in the rain, and then like go. Actually, no, I had to go work. I had to work the Rochester Lilac Festival for like 2.5 weeks. So I thought, hey, let's not start an absolute gauntlet of a 2.5 weeks with the sniffles.
Some kind of a head cold, yeah.
Yeah. But day one was fantastic. I tend to like the opening day of the festival because they do the thing they do, like they call it the Hawes Family Campfire Series, where there's anywhere from the first year there were 3 people on stage, and this year I think there were 5. But 3 different artists on stage just trading songs back and forth and talking. And this year it was Dave and his brother Tim helping back him up. It was Lara Jane Grace, it was Amethyst Kaya, and it was Langhorne Slim. Am I forgetting anyone? I was there.
Well, let's bring on Jesse Lundy. He was part of Rising Sun Presents, who was part of the lineup there. So, Jesse.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
How you doing?
Hey.
We're doing great. Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
I did everything wrong, and I don't have a microphone or a headset, and I'm using a cell phone, so I'm very sorry. I am over.
You hit the triple play right there.
Yeah, right, exactly. I did read the instructions. I did not follow them. I'm actually...
Which is worth something.
Now, I just want to say first, of course, I know Phil, I know Dan, but Nate, we haven't met yet, and it's good to see you in real life, my friend.
Good to see you as well. Good to see you.
I'm happy to find out that you're not like an AI-generated podcast. Happy.
It would be awesome if he was just a bobblehead. Or where's the Muppet?
It's right behind him.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you can hear it, but I'm out. I know you're talking about summer concerts. I'm at Eagleview Town Square tonight for the kickoff of our season here. We've been here since 2001, and of course we did miss the summer of 2020. But beyond that, this is technically our 23rd season, right?
Yeah.
You do the math. And tonight, Nicole Zell opened the show. We love Nicole. And Yam Yam is on right now.
I do enjoy Yam Yam.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing the band. They played for us a bunch at Ardmore and probably, at 118, but I had not gone out of my way to see them, and I didn't realize they were what they are.
Well, I'm going to bring up the whole the whole roster here for the summer. So tonight is Yam Yam on 6/4. Yeah, right. 6/18 WXPN presents Cassie Valaza with special guest Sequoia.
Yeah, she's a Nashville act.
7/2.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll just rip it through it real quick. 7/2 XPN welcomes Julia Pratt. Swing the Cat. Swing that cat.
That cat.
Swing that cat are at Ardmore tonight, actually. Bizarrely. Yep.
And then July 16th, is it Eddie 9V or 9V?
No. It's Eddie 9V, who is a killer.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah, I was enjoying his music when I checked it out earlier. And then Glenn David Andrews, 7:30, Handsome Jack and Scott Tornett.
Okay, so wait. Let me stop you for a second. I just want to say, with all due respect to all of the artists, that Handsome Jack, people like, oh, what kind of music do you listen to? Handsome Jack is the kind of music that I listen to. And if you haven't heard them, they are so awesome. And I'm so
that was going to be my one question. So after we ripped through this whole thing, I was going to say, who do you recommend? Because what I will add is last year, you and I met at one of these shows because Sunny War was playing, and I caught the show, and then I saw you there. And it's like, you talked about it when you were there, that the Eagleview show is almost like your... I know these VACs are going to be amazing.
Yes.
And they're free here for now, and they won't be for long.
Yeah, I'll just say very quickly that, what I always tell the crowd here and what I always tell our clients at the Henkin Group who put this event on, I'm like, your bragging rights are 1 to 2 years down the road.
Sure.
So, like, for instance, Daniel Donato, Avett Brothers, Amos Lee, Grace Potter, Melody Gardot, just off the top of my head. Those
Sure.
are all acts that played here, and all of them were opening acts when they played.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, one of these acts this year will definitely take off. I don't know which one it'll be, but that's the plan here. Yes.
Yeah. And this is where it's like, it's so cool to have you on, because this is the genius of what you have. This
genius is the word I would have used too.
It's this just ability to recognize and pick talent before it's emerged and put it on these stages where, okay, this is a listening crowd. It's a free show, but they're going to come out and listen. So the artist is going to enjoy it. And then the crowd's going to enjoy it. And then they're all going to go 2 to 3 years down the road. Holy shit, I saw them free down the road.
Yep. I mean, Donato's doing 2 nights for us in October at Ardmore without an opening act. He's going to it's just Daniel Donato's. You saw 2 nights there.
Yeah, and everybody knows the Avett brothers, obviously.
Sure.
And last year with Sonny, I also saw B. Taylor, who's also emerging talent. So lots of great stuff there. So Eagleview, if you live anywhere near that, go see one of their free shows. You're going to love it. The other one we wanted to bring up was your Concert Under the Stars lineup. And then this is this one. So this is not free, but this is definitely worth your time. This is down in King of Prussia.
Yeah.
Oh, you're having Raylan Baxter. I worked with him last month.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Is that the one that's got New Pornographers are in there? They got added late.
I am so hyped for that New Pornographer show.
Oh my god!
And in addition to that, Cracker is next weekend, and Nick
Molly
Lowe,
Tuttle,
Strace Jackets.
Yep.
And it's funny that you mentioned New Pornographers. That was one that Dan wanted us to play a little bit of a track from. So we're going to bring on some New Pornographers here for people to Yeah. So let's play some of that here. High Ticket Attractions is what we're going to play, just to bring in some music.
Good morning. Will Danny get here? Please push the principal's office at the
King of Prussia.
Thank you.
You can imagine all the factions that form around high-ticket attractions. High on the spirit, hopped up and listed. After the flame baptism, your feelings. You know the science of falling. You have the calling. You know the song of Magna Carta. It's underwater. We left it there for the sons and the daughters. One day they'll find it. And be reminded when we live under sea like we ought to. Didn't no flying from falling. Clueless the poor thing. Sad to report. Didn't no losing from learning.
So Dan, you seem to be pretty jazzed about New Pornographers. Tell us more about your connection there.
My love of all things Canadian, because of my adjacent upbringing.
Correct. Yes.
In Western New York, my love of AC Newman, and my absolute I would do anything she says. Feelings for one Necco case. So
there you go.
Yep. Yeah. And also I don't think I've ever seen New Pornographers outside, so I'm very excited to see them outside. Perhaps it's a different vibe.
Yeah. So Jesse, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit more about. So you're involved with, again, previously Point Entertainment, now Rising Sun Presents, and helping with the talent buying of all these different, venues and festivals and stuff. You got to feel great about the lineups that you put together this year. I mean, it's just an incredible aspect of things where... So New Pornographers are August 7th. And then other bands on that lineup. It's an amazing collection of artists there.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for Donovan Frankenreiter on the 16th of August. He absolutely shreds. He actually, I think last year, released a live album. It was from the tour that he and G Love did, where they put a band together and they were just kind of trading off Chuck Treese on drums and whatnot. And it was
Cool band.
it was so cool. It was so cool. So super stoked for that show.
Yeah. So Jesse, you got to be thrilled with the lineups that you pulled together this year. This pretty incredible, all these different elements that you've been a part of.
Can't tell if you guys can hear me.
We can.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Yes. His background noise is probably knocking out the microphone. So where we're going to move to was another element that he's a part of is this Wayne Musikfest, which is this coming Saturday, June 8th. And there's some incredible people on this lineup. Nate, you in particular wanted to talk about Margaret Glaspie.
Yes. So Margaret Glaspie is, first of all, a phenomenal guitar player. Her album Echo the Diamond was like the number 2 album, I think, on my top 30 last year, number 2 or number 3. And was the top artist I listened to by far. She's absolutely phenomenal, just an incredible songwriter, like I said, an incredible guitar player. But she most recently just released a EP of an acoustic EP, and it's so like intimate and at certain times feels like I'm intruding in her personal space listening to it.
Right.
It's just absolutely beautiful. And
I do have a song queued up here, the song Get Back.
Yeah. Oh, God. Great song. Go for it.
Yeah. So here's some Margaret Glaspie for those of you who don't know it. Here's Get Back.
Oh, once I had it all, or did it all have me? When you're dripping in your privilege, you don't know the difference between what you want and what you need. When nothing is
Yeah, so in all honesty, I had not heard of Margaret Glaspie, but when you swooned over her, I was like, I got to check this out.
Dude, the music's so good. We saw her last year at Underground Arts. And she's just as good live, if not better. Big fan, and really excited, hopefully, to make it. I have a fishing trip that I have to go to, that I'm going to on Saturday, and hopefully I get back in time, because I really want to catch that. But also,
of course,
I have to get up at 3:30 a.m. So
yeah.
So am I going to last to 8 p.m.? I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. It's a roll of the dice, people. But here, so the other people on this lineup to definitely mention, I mean, the run of Emily Drinker, Greg Silver, and Mustafa Numbisi is right up the NextFavBand alley. 2 of the 3 already on the list, and then Greg Silver was getting scheduled for later this summer. So 3 of those 4 acts have been on the show.
I got all 3. Plus, who else do I have on there? No, just the 3. Yeah.
Do you ever
right, and they're all on that Xfinity stage. But this is the beautiful part about this festival is it's a free festival. It's right in downtown Wayne, Pennsylvania, and it is a 4 stages of music going on, and basically very awesome experience for anytime people want to go down there. Some other great ones, Taz, the Brandon Taz Niederauer, I believe you pronounce it, but he's a phenomenal guitarist. It's just insane.
And of course, the legend, the great Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers, my friends. Come on, how killer.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So that's a couple of different ones we wanted to touch on there. So now we're going to bring on our next guest, the wonderful, super talented, and light of the world, Shug Daniels.
The light of the world.
Seriously.
Whole world.
Yes. So people who don't know are going to witness it firsthand right now. But Shug, welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Guys. Hello. Thank you for having me. I seen
Absolutely.
somebody, I don't know who did the caption, but it was like these jabroni boys are hanging out, and I was like, oh, I love that, the
No,
jabroni boys.
jabroni is definitely a term that can be used for.
Yes,
for all
I'm a
three.
big fan
Oh,
of
am
the
I not
frame.
allowed to say that? Am I?
No, it's.
I'm
I'm
so
not
sorry.
sure. No,
You
it's
cancel me.
not.
I wasn't trying to be racist.
No, I think it's just an old timey phrase for knuckleheads.
for
is really what it
knuckleheads,
is.
yeah.
Isn't that the best though? That we live in a world where like we all
You
are
take a
at least-
pause.
Like we're all conscious of it.
Wait,
Like, wait, I've used that my whole life. Is that fucked up? I might have said it wrong. Like,
Daniel's light of the world, and I come in like, you bunch of jabronis.
No, that's correct. No, it's so funny too. You're just like, wait, is that just a word that you guys can use to call each other?
Yeah.
And we're just like,
No, this is
no, it is not.
Educate me. I will always be ready to learn about how to respect the people around me. It's good for business, also. You know.
Absolutely. No, I completely understand that one. But yeah, no, in this show, you can say whatever you'd like. Especially towards me. But anyway, thank you, Shug, for joining us tonight, because you're here for kind of like two reasons. One, we want to promote the show that you're a part of that we're putting on.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
So we want to shine a light on this one. So and did you see what I did there? It'll reveal itself in a couple of minutes.
Put the light on it.
Yes.
Yes.
So this coming Sunday, June the 9th, Shug has honored us with, so the very first time that Your Next Favorite Band is putting on a Your Next Favorite Band Presents. And so what this show is trying to become is a series of concerts, live in-person concerts of what the show tries to do. Music discovery, under-the-radar artists, put it on a stage, and if you hopefully start to trust us, you'll come out and see these shows because you just know that what you're going to see is a great time and a great music experience. So for the very first installment here, Godfrey Daniels, this coming Sunday, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, at 4 p.m. And so that's a nice, sort of matinee show on a Sunday. You can still get home and not worry about, being out too late. But anyway, Shug Daniels is going to be on the stage as a duo, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then the other, it's kind of a co-headliner show. Also, the local band, Roy and the Secret People, are doing their acoustic trio. But tell the people what they've got in store for themselves here up in this Lehigh Valley to get them to come out and see this show.
Yeah, I'm super excited. The gentleman that I'm playing with, his artist name is King Jester. I met him through the Black Opry, and he's been.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's been booping and bopping around, and I always feel like meeting people in the Black Opry is always fun anyway, because it's immediate, like coming home. You're just like, "What's up, cousin?" But you ain't never
exactly.
I ain't never met this man in my life, but we immediately gelled, had a great time. He's a phenomenal player. I swear. I mean, I know I'm only 33. I haven't met a lot of players, but I've met enough to know that this guy is like
legit.
Yeah, he's really good. So he's going to be probably jumping back and forth between bass and guitar because he can play both.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And so I'm really excited about that. Roy and the Secret People. This is my first time meeting them.
Sure.
But already the vibes in the group chat and the email, I'm just like, we're going to have a good time. You can tell the vibe of a show. And when the artists are all meshing and having a good time, I think it just guarantees that the audience is also going to feel like they're a part of something much bigger than just, let's go see these two bands.
For sure. Yeah. Each band on their own would be worth checking out. And then the fact that there's this very cool, like, I'm just sitting back and enjoying it myself. I happen to be in on the communications, but they've got some surprises in mind. And so that's another little teaser right there, but it's going to be a special show. And you can get tickets at either nextfavband.com or godfreydaniels.org. Godfrey's, this is your debut at Godfrey's, right?
Yes, and it is a very big, like, kind of folky Americana. This is where a lot of the artists that do a lot of the kind of music that I make. It's a good stop. It's a good stop on a tour. So thank you for making the introduction more about the music discovery. I'm under the radar. I'm trying to be on it all over the place.
Yes, yeah. We're hoping after this Sunday you are now way on the radar. It's going to be because of this show. So what we'll do is let's bring on some Shug Daniels music. So just, again, for those of you who maybe have not heard her music before, this is a recently released song, right?
Yes. Just came
Anything
out.
You want to do to set it up? Or
Ago. Yeah, I really like this song. I've been playing it live for the last probably 2 years. It was pretty quick into getting into ukulele. I do play ukulele for anybody who doesn't know.
Sure.
But I don't play it like a traditional kind of way.
No.
I'm not classically trained. I'm not any kind of trained. I'm barely educated. So I just play music that feels really good to me. And I wrote this song not for, but about this girl that I was dating. I was still living in Delaware and coming up to Philadelphia and getting a good sense of the city. And I just felt like anything was possible. I was just putting out my first EP, and this was like a newer song. And yeah, I just was super excited. It's just, I feel like you can hear the excitement in the song about the new music career and the new relationship and everything, and just, going for it. Just gotta shoot your shot.
So here is Leave a Light On by Shug Daniels. I do love when the artist is bebopping along to their own song. It's like my
but I mean, also it's got all of my friends on it, right? I moved to the city. I was already making friends coming up here. So then I have Keaton Tandy on drums, Stacy Fink from the Side Chicks is doing the saxophone solo, Eric Kramer, who I've been traveling around with for so long, is producing the music and doing bass. And so there's just so many friends. When I hear the music, it's like a snap. I'm thinking of all the times in the studio, and we're like, oh, one more time, one more take. And, so it's just more than just the song. Also, I got LB here with me. It's my little friend.
There it is. Nice.
LB, it's my baby.
That's so cool.
I like my music. I would feel bad giving it to people if I didn't like it. If I don't like it, I don't
that's so true. I love it.
But I think that's. I was gonna say I 1000% agree with that. Like, if you're not a fan of your own stuff, man, then you're doing it wrong. Like, you gotta make that music that makes you happy, and it'll make other people happy. I always say.
Yeah.
I always say that. That's the Nate original. I said. No.
It's all my friends. It's special. I'm gonna be an old lady, sitting on my rocking chair watching my little YouTube videos, and all my friends are gonna be right here.
Shug, who directed the video? Did you?
Man, I shot all this on myself.
Hell yes. You did a killer job.
Thank you, babe. I mean, one day I'll have a big budget, but until then, all the little avenues, they can get stressful. I got to make an album art. I got to make a music video. But if I plan ahead far enough, it allows me to experience creativity in another way. So I try to work as far ahead as I can. And then it gives me time to not be so super stressed out and not worry about having a big budget, because I just don't have it. But I don't want to not make the music video, because that helps promote the song and continues telling the story around the song, which is telling the story around me. And y'all know how it goes. You already know.
Yeah. I like how that video included some stuff from Sing Us Home.
Bringing us full circle to that part.
Yeah. And this was something I had thought about. Like I said, the song is a couple years old. The first line is "Hey Little Bird," and Sing Us Home, as you can see, their logo is little birds and stuff. So I was like, and I knew it was gonna be I just knew it was gonna be a WXPN welcomes. I was like, let me go ahead and release this right on time. And just trying to think ahead of what's the best way I can promote this. And I wasn't gonna even put this in the music video. Then I was like, oh no, this is the end of the music video. We're coming home from a tour, so everybody's coming home, and this worked out perfect.
Yeah.
And again, you're also not only enjoying the music, but you're getting to see the full positive energy of a Shug Daniels show.
Hey.
That's what I meant.
Listen,
Light of the world.
friend.
Like, just so great. And the other thing, too, I wanted to mention, like, we did an interview back last summer. You've been on Dan's show. You got to get on Nate's show.
Yeah, what the hell?
But I mean, there's.
I got your card sitting around here somewhere. I just ain't got to email
That's right.
you yet.
It's fine. It's
Listen,
fine.
we here.
I get it.
But what I meant is, like, there's these elements out there where you could really get to keep diving into this incredible story. Like we've talked about, like, coming out of Delaware and into Philadelphia, and through these other completely different styles of music, finding the ukulele. I mean, just the whole story is super cool.
It's great. I don't know. I just keep going.
Right. Yeah. Just keep one step in one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
But I think too, like, thank you again for just simply being a part of it. And I can't wait for Sunday. I don't even care if nobody else shows up. It's just going to be me sitting there Indian style listening to the two of y'all play.
Put your hands on your knees.
Exactly. With like a little, like a carpet cutout, like in kindergarten. But the other reason why we have
other people show up, Phil, you don't have to hope that you can abandon that expectation, but I sincerely hope other people show up.
I mean, I do too.
Oh, sure. They're gonna come.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we certainly hope that people want to come check that out. And again, it's this coming Sunday, June 9th, Godfrey Daniels, which, like we talked about, is a wonderful venue to check out. And then a terrific lineup. Shug Daniels and Brian the Secret Bill. The other reason why we have you on is you also are one of the producers of a festival called Sweet Juice Fest.
Sweet Juice Fest, baby.
So we're going to bring that up here on the screen here for you to reference.
Look at that. Okay, so Sweet Juice is just a quick for anybody who has never heard of Sweet Juice Fest. It is a music and arts festival that a couple other buddies, about 6 of us all together. The first year, it was a bunch of mostly female, queer, POC artists. We were a bunch of friends that all wanted to go to each other's shows, but we were all playing on the same night. So we were like, we should just make a festival, like real casual. And then the Philly spirit of DIY messed around, used all of our network, and made it happen. The first 2 were held at
Rigby Mansion.
The first 2 are held at Rigby Mansion, which is out in Germantown, this beautiful kind of like art house. It's got a bunch of artists that live in there in that beautiful space. And we threw it just like right on their porch. And, our friends came and cooked and people put their blankets out. And it was phenomenal. It was so much fun. And we were like, I guess we should do it again next year. We had a capacity. We sold out the first day. The second year we sold out the first day it came out. This year we're back July 6th. At the Arboretum, which is a much bigger space. So we can hopefully get some more friends and family and community out there to enjoy some music and some art. It's so fun. It's interactive too, right? So it's not just come and buy some art, although we do have artists and vendors. It's also like stations where you can do like finger paints, or I don't know what they got going on this year, but I know it's going to be lit because the girlies always... Yeah. And the lineup is so fun every year because it's a bunch of bands that are usually always playing or headlining different shows in different venues. So we try to get all of them in one spot. And we have
And I love Marissa Paternoster. So Noun, just that music coming off of Screaming Females, I just think is so cool.
Yeah. That's the first show I've seen build of her new project post Screaming Females. So that's awesome. I also want to say about Sweet Juice, it is a festival. I have never been a bigger fan of a festival that I have never actually been able to attend.
Right?
Your first year, I was stuck doing something. I was in like the drudgery of work. The second year, it was all intended, and then something happened and I couldn't go. So I kind of feel like I missed the 2 like OG years of Sweet Juice Fest. So maybe I'm just like a tourist now, but like I'm very, very excited, and it's on my calendar for July 6th. And we're just like, I'm hoping that nothing dumb happens.
Nothing's gonna happen, baby. You're gonna come out. We're gonna sit in the grass. We're gonna lay out. We're gonna make some finger paints. We're gonna listen to some music. Life's gonna be good.
All my favorite pictures of it in previous years is like, you just look at it, it's just pantheon of all the different people, of just all the different kinds, colors, sexualities, identifications, and then always in the back I'm like, and there's John Batiste just hanging out. It's my favorite. I'm just like, and John Batiste.
And then John Batiste, but he's like the patron saint, I feel like, definitely, of like local musicians, indie musicians.
Totally.
He's
Yeah.
everywhere.
100%.
He'll be like 3 shows in one night. I don't know how he does it. I don't know. How
He gets very tired, and then there are periods of time where he doesn't leave his house.
Yeah.
I think that's how he does it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be, it's really exciting. We had American Trappist last year, which is a big band. Like, whenever we're like, okay, who we're thinking about this year, I was like, American Trappist. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them. Phenomenal. Like,
Yeah. So let's go over it one more time. July 6th.
Tickets go live June 6th, so just
Right.
go to the website, email list, you'll get it right to your inbox.
There you go.
Mhm.
Well, Shug, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Can't wait to see you Sunday.
That's
And
nice.
then Sweet Juice Fest. And then obviously there's probably tons of other things that you'll be doing the rest of the summer as well.
Yes, I'm very happy, but I'm definitely trying to pace myself, you know. But
Is,
so like,
is one of those things coming on my podcast? Because what the fuck?
yes, babe. Let's do the podcast. You know what? I have a big show at Johnny Brenda's, my first full band show at Johnny Brenda's, and I'm headlining. Let's do a little promo for that. Aren't we?
I'm in. Great. I'm in. Look, I'm joking around, but you know the door is always open if you ever want to come anytime.
I know. I appreciate you too. I know you're not messing around when you say that.
It's true. It's true.
Absolutely.
There are. I'm not going to name them all because I don't want to make other people jealous. But there are a few acts in Philly who just make my heart swell to watch them succeed. And you are 10,000% one of them.
Thank you. I feel the same way. I've watched all of you guys over the last couple of years, and it's just wonderful to see you all sharing space and like championing each other. You know.
Someone's got to do it in the cutthroat podcast, the cutthroat independent music podcast world. You know, we could compete and throw shade. That's the 90s version. The 90s version would be for us to like compete and throw shade and like talk about each other, you know, like the Gallagher brothers. But you know, 2024 is all about collab.
Well, can I tell you something very funny? You know, Phil earlier asked me to forward through the theme song. And as I was looking for the files, I saw an instrumental and I literally had a 2-second idea where I was like, I wonder if I can steal some time real quick to go to the break room because I was at work, to go to the break room and cut like a new verse that's just a diss track shitting on everybody else except for me. And then
that would have been funny if you had pulled that off, and also for all your colleagues to hear you suddenly doing that in the break room.
Right.
That would have been really. That's really good.
Yeah, people are walking by the break room and just hear wop 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 wop. Fuck them up, Nate. You know. Like,
I'm pretty sure we're gonna do this again. Let's do that. Plan for that for the next one.
I will.
Yeah, and I won't listen. I'm just gonna bring it up. Like I'll just let it happen.
That's how you get people to tune in for real. That's how you
exactly. Yeah, it'll
They
be
gonna
like
wanna hear
a little Christmas present. But
creating our own beef between the three of us.
Exactly. Well, Shug, thank you so much for joining tonight. And people, get your tickets for this Sunday and also for Sweet Juice Fest on July 6th.
Yes, can't wait. Thank you guys.
Absolutely,
Thanks,
thank you. Gents, we are soldiering on here. The next venture we had here was one that Dan, you wanted to make sure we touched on here, Beard Fest.
Oh yeah, Beard Fest. So that's so there was a band called Beard Space, or they were called Out of the Beard Space. Zach Lepresti kind of fronted that band. He's an insanely great lead guitar player, and very much lives in the jam world, the hippies spinning around in the woods. Concert festival.
Sure.
And they've been doing it on Hamilton, New Jersey for a bunch of years too. And for people who aren't familiar, Hamilton, New Jersey is kind of smack in the middle of what they call the pines, the New Jersey Pine Barrens, which I've been hiking for years and years. Like I think long before I even knew that Beer Fest was a thing. And there's like all kinds of like camping and stuff down there. But it's a really, really gorgeous part of not just the state, but like of the country. I think we're very fortunate to live as close to places like Hamilton, New Jersey, as we are in Philadelphia. It's a 45 minute drive. So, but killer lineup. I mean, you've got Beach Space, you've got Mono Neon, Moon Hooch, Thumpasaurus. These are all big kind of regional groove and jam bands.
Sure.
Octave Cat, Muscle Tough, who just celebrated their 10-year anniversary as band, which is great. My good friend Nick Greeley and the Operators are playing. Koof Knotts and Christine. Koof is on a whole bunch of festivals this summer.
We'll be talking about him in
Christine.
a second here too.
Yeah, and then some as I move down, and this is like a good eye exam for me right now.
Yeah, can you read
as I move
line
down,
3?
some other Philly artists.
Well, I see Velvet Rouge on there. They're like
Yep.
on every festival lineup. Going.
Star Destroyers. Don't sleep on Star Destroyers. Nick Greeley hipped me to these guys. He and I were sitting
On name alone, Nate is interested.
Yeah. Nick Greeley and I were sitting in the Penrose Diner in the winter, in the early part of the year, and Nick was getting ready to drop the Beard Space lineup that week, and he showed it to me, and I said, I'm like, Star Destroyer. I said, they've been popping up all over my feed lately. He kind of looked at me. He's like dead serious. He goes, dude, don't sleep. And they're outstanding. They're outstanding band. Crickets and Cicadas, another great band that's always been kicking around.
Awesome
Kozer.
name.
I had Kara on not long ago from Kozer, and that was a trip. They're a great band.
Yep.
And I can't read anymore now. I'm done. I'm blind.
Let's also just put the details out there. June 13th through the 15th.
Yep.
Hamilton, New Jersey.
That's a 16. That's a 16.
Wow, 13 through 16.
Neither of us can read.
No, we are needing reading glasses.
But yeah, shout out to Velvet Rouge, Gina Zoe, fronting that band. They like you said, they're kind of everywhere this summer.
Yeah, totally. They were Ladybug Fest, which was recently, and a couple other ones.
They get to make up
Musikfest as well.
they get to make up their canceled date from last year's XPN Fest, which I think is great that a lot of the bands that didn't get to play last year
come back,
are getting brought back this year, which is great. They don't have to do that. They can fill out that lineup with anyone they want. So the fact that they want to make it right, and also I've said this since last year, the amount of just like cool everyone was with it, including the bands, like people like Julia Pratt got all the way there and realized they couldn't play, and no one had a hateful, word to say. No one dropped any shade. Like everyone was just like, yeah, what are you gonna do? So knocking on wood.
Yeah, it was really funny because we both talked to Julia shortly after that happened, and then I talked to Gina from Velvet Rouge, and like literally the first 5 minutes of both of those conversations were me going, "You two were like the two acts I wanted to see." So yes, I'm definitely glad as well that they're coming back. Like that's that's cool, man.
Yeah. And Beard Space is like a cool, small, independent festival that's going on for many years and grows every year. And I love seeing stuff like that. Much like in the line of Sweet Juice, I think they have a few more years under their belts than Sweet Juice, but like it's just fun to see these small.
Yeah, I think.
And I don't use the word small in a diminutive way, but just
12th
like
annual.
Yeah. Is it 12 years? Yeah.
That's what it says at the top there.
Yeah, I just like seeing these like concentrated regional things that like just continue to perpetuate because as we've all been reading in the news lately, just in the last couple of weeks, the number of like huge headliner bands that are suddenly realizing that like, oh, maybe we can't pull together what we think we can pull together.
Sure,
Now there's all kinds of other corporate machinations behind that drive that, but I would hope that more people, like for example, say you can't go see the Black Keys at a big arena this year. So like maybe you want to take a fraction of that money and go to something like Beard Space or go to something like Sweet Juice or go to Phil's show at Godfrey Daniels. You could see 20 shows for the price of going to see one band in a giant arena. And it's, for lack of a better term, it's going to blow anyway because it's a giant arena and it's not Fish.
And here's an even better idea: you could just pocket all of that money and go see stuff at the Levitt SteelStacks.
Guy with the Segway,
right?
Boom.
Which is totally free. And joining us now, Shayna Super. You have an amazing title now. What is it? The director of the SteelStacks?
Yeah, so I'm executive director for Levitt SteelStacks, and I'm still the Arts Quest programming manager as well. So I got both those titles in there.
Yeah, so there you go. Not only the Levitt stage all summer long, but Musikfest all free for the most part. There's some obviously headlining Musikfest acts, but for the most part there. A lot of free concerts. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So the focus tonight is going to be the Levitt stage, because even though Musikfest is 60-ish days away, that's still a lot of music between now and then. So we're going to focus on Levitt since there's so much great stuff going on that stage. But congrats on becoming, the executive director of that Levitt stage. I mean, that's such a cool opportunity for you. And the Levitt Foundation is such a cool thing that I want to make sure we do talk about that first. That I don't know that a lot of people fully grasp or get what that organization is all about and what it does across the country.
Yeah. So I'll start with like a story about the founder. His name was Mortimer Levitt. And when he was young in Connecticut growing up, he would stand outside ticketed concert venues, couldn't afford tickets. And just in that moment was like, I wish that there was free music that I could see. So later in life, when he becomes financially able to, they open Levitt Westport, totally free venue in Connecticut. And from there, really with the help of his daughter, Liz, who sadly recently passed away.
I was going to bring up the site while you were chatting, because there's a wonderful dedication to her.
Yeah, I mean, the legacy they've left behind is crazy. I mean, it's just so impactful. But with her help, they became based in LA and added Levitt Pasadena, Levitt LA, and over time now there's 7 permanent Levitt venues across the country. But now there's also over 35 AMP sites, what they call AMP and Vibe sites.
Sure.
Which are basically smaller concert series that just need that extra bit of funding to be impactful. So Levitt's.
So on this map, the light blue pinpoints are the permanent stages, which includes the SteelStacks. The red ones are the ones that are these kind of pop-up stages, which are also bringing free live music to those communities.
Yeah, and then the purple ones are they're called Vibe sites, and they're more. They're within big cities, but within those cities, neighborhoods that don't see some of the arts that the cultural hub of Chicago might, but there's other cities that aren't experiencing that same opportunity and accessibility. So they're kind of focusing on those areas to make sure that it's equitable across cities that you can see. Very artsy.
So right there, you can come to levitt.org and learn more about the organization and the locations and everything that's kind of going on. But like we said, we are lucky enough here in the eastern Pennsylvania area to have one of these permanent locations, the Levitt SteelStacks stage. And what an amazing job you did booking the lineup. I mean, when you did the reveal, you do this very cool, you keep it secret until that day, and it's a Sunday afternoon in April, and you do the reveal, and you do some the artist that designs the poster is there, and you play some and there's some live music going on, and it's just a very, very people are so excited for any news about the summer that it brings in a bunch of people, and it's such a cool day. And then the lineup this year is just so impressive.
Yeah, the season reveal, I feel like showing those videos, it just resonates so much with the audience, because post Musikfest, you do see a little bit of a drop off in that attendance, but the bands where we showed videos and people kind of connected with it in that moment, you'll still see a larger turnout for those bands. So I really tried to focus during the season reveal on some stuff that's happening after Musikfest, because there's still tons of free music after Musikfest.
Oh, so true. And actually, you're right. Some of those, the people who are on after Musikfest are some of the best ones, from my opinion, as well.
I think it's a really strong second half of the lineup. I don't know how it just fell that way, but yeah.
Sure. So we're going to bring up some of the different, and what I would love to do is get Nate and Dan's kind of take on some of this as we feature some of this music. What I'd like to feature is the other thing that the Levitt Foundation does is they book one band that's going to appear at all of those 7 permanent locations, maybe some of the other ones as well, but there's someone who they book to be almost their national tour. And so I wanted to bring that up here first, because it's such an impressive artist, the War and Treaty, and I wanted to let you have a chance to kind of speak to that.
Yeah, this one, they really knocked it out of the park with this one. It's fully covered by the foundation, so you get an opportunity to have bands that otherwise might not be free. And with the War and Treaty, it's been a delight for people to say, oh, I've got to get my tickets to that one. And I'm like, no, you've got to put your lawn chair out maybe kind of early.
Right, exactly.
But no tickets, totally free. So it's just a really great thing that the foundation provides to its.
Sure. And Grammy winning, right? Or Country Music Award winning, I think is what it is, and Grammy nominated. But such an impressive duo here. And let's take a listen to the War and Treaty. This is a song called Leads Me Home.
Life's a journey about getting by till you get to the by and by and meet your maker up in the big house in the sky. As you travel to and fro, sometimes you get lost trying to go back to a familiar place that you want straight away from. Oh, meet me on the other side of the railroad where the mountain peaks and crystal streams through the valleys flow.
So, I mean, just an incredible, just talent on display. You have that combination of very complex music, but also that very simple bluegrass shared microphone kind of approach to the vocals. I mean, you can see why they're having such success in the industry.
I like all the... Oh, sorry, Shannon.
No, go ahead.
I like, as this video rolls on, it's all the different sort of eras of like Nashville style country music. Like when they changed, like right there where she's on the sound stage, like standing on the thing, I was like, oh, it's very different than how it started out. But I think that's a very cool nod right there to all the different flavors of country.
Certainly. Yeah, just the War and Treaty is super impressive. And again, such a treat for the Levitt Foundation to go and get them and then allow all of these different stages across the country to be able to have it for a free show. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah, we had them back in 2019, and that's usually a badge of honor for us when we're programming, when you see them that it's for free and goes on and you're like, well, they're a little bit out of that free budget range for Levitt now, but we had them when we could. So to have them come back and have an audience and, have developed fans and have people remember, it's a really great opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Flip side of that is, let's give the date on that one. So here it will be, War and Treaty is July 26th. Yes. So again, SteelStacks stage right in downtown, basically Southside Bethlehem. And lots of parking. Bethlehem sometimes knocked for lack of parking, but there is definitely plenty of parking over by Arts Quest. So no worries there. Yeah.
I wanted to give you, Shayna, a shout out also for the ability to have someone pull out and still put on an incredible show this past weekend is
true.
Amazing. And
So
I'm not just saying that because we all love Clover, which we do. But just the turnaround and the ability to still pull that off. Many kudos. That's killer.
Thank you. This was definitely the closest to a show cancellation for Levitt. We have cancellations at Musikfest, and you're like, okay, who's on site today? Like, who can jump in and do another set? But this, I was like, who is going to be available June 1, a Saturday? Like, it was touch and go, but Clover's awesome, so it just worked out so well.
If I can add just another layer of awesome, Shayna also wrote to me to make sure I knew that Clover was on the stage because she knew I was a fan. So she not only booked that person, but then dropped me a note to say, in case you didn't see it, Clover's going to be on the stage this Saturday. So
it's
thank
funny
you so much for that.
When Nicole told me about it, I was like, you got to tell Phil. And she was like, no. And I was like, okay. See, everybody's looking out for you, Phil.
I love it. I love it. This is amazing. It's like this is your life. But the opposite end of the spectrum. So there you have War and Treaty, super successful band, Grammy nominated, CMA award winning, and so on. The other side of this equation is we have on June 21st something that actually NextFavBand is connected to is a all local songwriters round. So it's actually the opposite side of these are people who are trying to get up the line, and both a combination of Lehigh Valley and Philadelphia based songwriters who are going to put on that kind of Nashville style songwriters round. And it's done in conjunction with the Underground Music Collective, who Gerard Longo was here in Bethlehem, moved to Nashville to kind of keep the dream going. And here's the lineup, which is a super cool, again, display of all of this amazing talent that we have. Alex Radis, Bren, Chelsea Mitchell of Dirty Dollhouse, Greg Adams of Tioga, Kufnatz and Christina Lease, we just talked about before, and then Ty Valone and Brie MC from the Groove Merchants. Shayna, again, super kudos to you for supporting this as well. Like, this is the opposite side of what this stage is about, where it's kind of supporting the local stuff.
It just, after seeing it in this past fall when it was in the Blast Furnace Room, it's an outdoor space isn't always the best listening space, but I think Levitt is. I think Levitt can be a lot.
It totally is, yeah.
We wouldn't try this at Musikfest. That would be chaos. But this, I think, is a really good opportunity for people who come out to listen to the bands. And when you think people are just coming out, people do come out just because they trust what we're going to have. But they give their feedback in the end. Like they are listening and they are making fans out of these people who come back and see them. So it's a really engaged fan base too that comes to Levitt.
Agreed. I think that's true of Bethlehem in general. Like, there's a lot of people who I bring on the show who always say, I love playing Bethlehem because the musician, the supporting people, so like all of the kind of behind the scenes people care, but then the audience cares. And so that's just a very special thing that I guess they don't always get. And so we're proud of that. And then, like you said, you get to almost tap into that and give them maybe what they want, which is maybe something that they haven't heard before. But the beautiful part about it is all these local genius, brilliant, songwriters who are, going to be on that stage that day. And I think it's such a cool thing. It's a different kind of environment for people to kind of do that. So that's Friday, June 21st, the first day of summer, is Sounds of the Underground, which is those 6 songwriters. And then the small stage, the late night stage, is also local rock bands, which were also kind of curated by UMC and NextFavBand. So definitely a very cool night to come out. So a couple other people we wanted to kind of highlight from and again, the full lineup is out there. It's something to kind of check out, because the ones that maybe we want to highlight tonight, it will be different than what you'll want to listen to. But these are some ones that we wanted to make sure that you were aware of, as far as being and most of the ones I picked are people who've been on the show before. But the first one I wanted to highlight, and again, we're kind of going in chronological order now, July 5th, so it's a Friday right before 4th of July. One of my absolute most favorite bands of all time now is Bandits on the Run. It's a marvel to watch them, because you before they start playing, you're seeing a cellist, a dude with an acoustic guitar and standing in front of a suitcase, and a woman who is playing either an accordion or like some other kind of child's toy. And then when they start to sing their harmonies and play their music, it's just absolute magic. So here, check out the song "We Battle Giants" by Bandits on the Run.
We battle giants. You're adventurous and curious and wonder what the top of every mountain looks like. I follow you to great heights, and we could hang out anywhere, but you wanna hang out up there. So I follow you through woods and towns, down in the earth up to the skies. We battle giants together. If you move, I move. If you move, I move. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Just everything they write, I think, is so amazing.
I'm still watching it. I'm
I know,
like, you turned it down. I'm just like, I'm still gonna watch this.
So yeah, again, Friday, July the 5th is, again, let's remind everybody every single time, a free show on the lawn, and it is something that everybody should come out for. And we will all be singing along. Like, that's what this is. Their music is so infectious.
My colleague Allie, who books a lot of the free shows with me, she saw them at Folk Alliance, a conference that happens in Kansas City, which is just in one hotel, and all of these bands have hotel rooms, and there's like official showcases, but at night all of the bands just push their hotel furniture to the side, and like every hotel room is a stage basically. So she saw them in their hotel room at like 2 a.m. during this conference and was like, we should bring them here. So
that doesn't shock me at all. I mean, they just have such a great, again, vibe to them, and they're that kind in person. Like, the way that, you know, most of the people who I go to ask to be on the show is after a set at the merch table. And sometimes when they're like that talented, I'm like, there's no way they're going to say yes. And within, like, before I could get the sentence out, they were like, yes, when do you want to do it? I was like, my goodness, you're just the nicest people around. Like, they're just so great. They're really wonderful people.
I got turned on to them because I braved the weather to make it to Phil's 50th birthday party up in Bethlehem earlier this year, and they were the band, and it was really something. And like Phil kept telling me, like, you have to see this, and I did.
Yeah, they are terrific, and I almost wanted to bring on more of their music, but just go see them play live or check out their catalog or all of the above. Can't recommend them enough. Again, Friday, July the 5th will be when they're playing on the Levitt stage. Shana, you wanted to talk about Happy Landing, who are playing July 18th?
I did. I think one of the best things about Levitt is how many different genres we have that we can represent on the stage, but indie rock is my genre of choice, like when I'm just listening outside of work. And during the season reveal, we had a little bit of technical difficulty with their video, so it didn't get played. So I've been like, that kind of stinks. So this is my opportunity to be like, okay, people can see them now. But
yeah,
it's just a really beachy indie rock band that I feel like is just a perfect Levitt night. You know, the weather's going to be perfect. I just know it, and I'm looking forward to it.
So here's their song, October.
Well, the light doesn't shine just on anyone,
and I feel so fine on this harbor line.
Last night in Boston you stole the show. We still got months left to go.
Gotta love when they shoot a gorgeous video too.
I'm trying to figure out where it is, and my first thought was like, they shoot this in Shenandoah? Like, it has definitely Shenandoah vibes to it.
This is
Would
also
not be
making
shocked.
a question. I said they're kind of beachy, but like I've listened to songs of theirs that sound like beachy or surfier, and this is completely opposite of that. So that's also a cool.
Oh, sure.
Ooh.
Right?
There you go.
This is why I was like, Shane and I are going to pick some music, and I can't wait to see what Nate and Dan think of it, because in real time we're going to get people who love music to kind of, you know, give their reaction.
I'm just worried that they're still out there on that rock. Like, not my comm is somewhat damaged by it, where it's like I know that they're fine, because why would they release the video if something
True,
happened?
right.
So I know everyone's
Spoiler alert.
fine, but
She
like,
falls
it's
off the
also
rock at
just
the
like
end.
I'm like just like a worried mother. Like, don't you kids play out on that rock?
See, for you, it's worried mother, whereas me, it's empathetic fear. Like, because I'm afraid of heights, and I'm just like, they're making me anxious. Not that they're going to fall, but like just
Like she's just
like,
so lackadaisical out there on
Yeah.
that rock. It's like, don't, no, what? But everything's fine.
But back to the music, it's awesome. I did not expect us to go down that path.
You got me and Nate on this thing. Like, we're gonna go somewhere.
Listen, I know anything is possible, but again, one more time there, July 18th, Happy Landing, wonderful band, terrific music.
See, Dan, if they fell, they would have made a happy landing. Sorry, I had to do it.
No,
you know what?
I didn't even
That was
go
well
there.
done.
And you went there, and now I can't not be there. So
You would not have been happy, yeah. But you talked about indie rock, and that was the way I was going to kind of almost describe the next band. Very bluesy indie rock from Patty Pershela and the Mayhaps, which is... someone brought it up before where it was like, what music is going on in your head? A lot of times it's Patty Pershela for me. And she was on our show back last September. But this is some of the best music that I have the pleasure of listening to. They're going to be playing August 17th. So like you talked about, we're now post Musikfest, but still summertime, still free shows on the SteelStacks stage. So here is their song, Do It For Me, Patty Pershela and the Mayhaps.
You know I scratched your back until my last nail cracked. But honey, I got an itch that I can't reach. Oh, and it's right in the center, so I'll rub up against whatever, just to get some temporary relief. You don't do it for me, baby, I'm not sorry. Said I'm the best you've had, and I never meant to laugh, but I won't say it wasn't funny. So call me what you want, but as long as I'm all I got, well, I know that I'm in good company. Yeah, you don't do it for me, baby, I'm not sorry. So alright.
Total badass.
Sock puppets.
Sock puppets.
Sock puppets. Just absolutely think she's terrific. Great vocals. You know, again, that rocking a bass that we joked about on the show is as tall as she is. But just writing some amazing music and great videos, and I don't know, I think the world of her.
We love a badass female lead, that is for sure.
Oh, for sure. And again, get to see her free August 17th on the Levitt stage.
That guy's playing an axe. I get it now. Like, it's an axe, it's guitar, he's playing an axe.
Yes, he's playing an axe. And that's going to come up again in a little bit. Not from him, but also other people playing an axe. But
an actual axe?
An actual axe.
Wow.
But yeah. And interview with her was terrific too. Like, she has songs about mental health and songs about, you know, silly things like this. Like, she has such a diverse catalog, and definitely people should check out Patty Pershela and the Mayhaps.
Shayna, here's a question for you. You talked about loving a badass female lead, which hell yeah, that's like one of my favorite things in the world. But like, what to you makes like a great act for, like, especially for, when you're talking about like the back half, the post Musikfest and stuff like that? Like, what mainly are you looking for out of an artist when you're kind of putting that lineup together?
That's a good question. The back half of this lineup happens to be a lot of female fronted groups. So that's not necessarily the only category there, but I just think strong vocals. I think you hear, and this isn't to knock anybody's musicianship, I think you can hear a lot of really tight bands, and you get some vocalists that just doesn't quite match. So when you've got that mix of powerful vocal and harmony with whoever else is in the band with that musicianship, I feel like that's what puts it over the edge. And then even more than that is just their energy and engagement with the audience, and not so much that they have to tell a story after every song, but just leave the audience feeling like they've had a connection in the end, and has that merch tent line being so long, and has Phil being like, okay, how do we, there was something good about them. Like, what are we going to talk about with them? Sure. But like her vocals are what stick out to me, and it just matches that musicianship.
Totally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And this might even give you something more to kind of expand upon that on is, and this was not an artist I had heard until it was shared at the reveal. And the instant it was played there, I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I was glad when you picked it here as well. Gina Chavez. So not only a badass female lead, but a Latin performer as well. And I just think I can't wait to see this performer. So tell me more about Gina Chavez.
So Gina Chavez to me is one of the, she was slated to play Levitt in 2020. Mm-hmm. So finally, 4 years later, she's going to be live in person. She did do a virtual show with us in 2020, Levitt in Your Living Room. And she actually did a songwriting workshop, a virtual songwriting workshop with some BASD kids. So like, it's just very special to me. And it was like, in that moment, it was a reminder that like good things can still happen. It's 2020 and everything's pretty bleak, but that was like a high point. And then, rescheduling over the last 2-3 years was crazy. So finally she's going to be on the stage, but I just think, her song content, like some of the lyrics and the social issues that she's writing about, they're so poignant. Yep. And they're going to be felt by so many people in the audience. And I just think it's so important. And totally. On top of that, just badass female musician.
Correct. Yes. I mean, you're going to be impressed by this one. Check out the song Bien Amada by Gina Chavez.
Tengo las palabras para amarte, tengo el abrazo para cuidarte. Cada mañana que levante el corazón, repica chiquitita por haberte visto. Tengo este ritmo para llevarte, tengo las manitos para endulzarte, cada sonido de mi voz.
So the thing that jumped out at me is not only in this version, but in what else I've seen of hers is just the absolute comfort she has as a front woman. Like, just absolutely, completely, and totally command of the stage and the music. And it's a person who was born to play music, and I just love it.
Yeah. I like her drummer a lot. It's a great thing about even Latin artists who don't necessarily go out and perform, straight ahead what you would imagine traditional Latin music, and there are many artists out there who do that. You can't ever get away from the rhythm of whatever it is that you came up with, whatever it is that's just in you, and I like hearing those elements even in bands that aren't trying to be like straight ahead, like Latin bands.
Right. Just can't wait for this.
Yeah.
I basically, if Shannon, that I talk about this all the time on the show, where it's like I talk about the Musikfest moment, where it's the band you never heard of before, who has this sound you've never heard of before, and you're just like absolutely blown away with it waving over the top of you. It happened in the reveal show with Gina Chavez, where I was just like, holy smokes, what is going on right now?
Yeah, and just watching the workshop she did with students, like, she's just an amazing person. And the comfortability, you said, like, she was coaching this very nervous student through writing a song, and in the end they get a song, and just like the ability to work with a person, a seventh grader who has never done this before and was just like, yeah, I'll try it, to end up with a song in the end, I think is pretty remarkable.
100%. No, that is super cool. So we have one more to share, and this is going to be from September 13th, which is farther in the reaches of what we had planned to talk about tonight, but I couldn't not talk about Revan Payton's Big Damn Band, which was
you love those guys.
This was my favorite band from Musikfest last year that I had never heard of before, and it is just having not seen them play live. I listened to their music, and it was one of those bands where you're like, okay, there's going to be roughly between 5 and 20 people on stage, and there's 3. One of them playing a washboard. And then it's him and a drummer, and that's it. But that's what generates this. This is a song called Ways and Means by the Reverend Payton's Big Damn Band. It's a wonderful video, too, if you get to check this out. But just check this out. And this is the guy who I was talking about before. Does, in his closing number, play a literal axe on stage. But let's just check out some of his tune here called Ways and Means.
I just ain't got the means.
I mean, how do you just not love this and just say, yeah, give me more of that, pump it right into my veins?
Also, great ways and means.
Right?
That's great.
Yeah, I like, and this is 3 of them, then like what does 15 of them look like?
Exactly.
Like that's, yeah.
It is just crazy. I mean, it's such great music, and it's like, I hate to use the word simple, but like it's 3 people. Like it's just, but yet they're able to make this just cacophony of sound that make you just want more of it, and you're just gonna bebop along all night. And he's so charismatic, and so is Washboard Breezy. I mean, it's just so fun.
Oh, that's their name.
Washboard Breezy, yeah, and they're a married couple, like they're together.
That's the guys. Oh, okay, the guitar player and the washboard.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say was, so having seen them now twice, the closing number, he sings a song. I think it's 2 Bottles of Wine, and he starts off playing a cigar box guitar, swaps it out for genuinely an axe, like has an axe. Somehow it's connected to the amp and it's playing guitar music. Then Washboard Breezy comes out, her entire washboard's on fire, and like that's the end of the show. Like.
There would have to be.
You have.
What do you do after that?
Not only is the music amazing, but just the absolute spectacle of what's on stage is incredible. Can't get enough of it. And by the way, these people played Wednesday of Musikfest last year. Like, don't miss any day of Musikfest. It's not a bad day. Wednesday night, this absolute spectacle was going on, and I was like, I love life, and I still have 5 more days of this.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, I did want to talk to you about this, Shane, because I just sort of had a recent experience. You're also still a big part of Musikfest, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I myself just engaged in working production for a 10-day music festival, and I just got to say, no one else does this except you guys, and it's a very, very small club, and I understand so much more. And we just had one big stage. You guys have like 20 of them. But 10 days, that's a marathon.
We have so many great, besides our staff who are amazing, we have 1,000 volunteers who are doing everything, including stage management and stage hands and staying there till the band gets done and breaking down all the gear. So it is no small feat, but it takes everybody. That's for sure.
Yeah. 10 days. It's abstract on paper, and then you do it. And then you're just like, wow, this is insane. No one should do this.
It's 450 plus bands playing free over those 10 days.
Yeah.
There's a north side and a south side. There's all sorts of, in addition to the music, food trucks and beer trucks and all sorts of fun. The other part of this, though, is it's clean. It doesn't smell bad. There's no fights. Like, it's just such a wonderful experience. I've gone all 10 days for a number of years in a row, and there's never been a bad day. Like, it's one of those things where it's a very, very special, almost Shangri-La type experience. And all of my friends hear me talk about it, and they're like, you're a weirdo. I don't know what's wrong with you. And then they come, and within the first, at most, 90 seconds, they're like, why haven't I ever come before? I'm never not coming ever again.
Well, the first year I ever went was last year. You got me to come up. Mm-hmm. And we went down to the south side and we saw stuff at the SteelStacks. And I was familiar with that campus. And I was like, all right, this is cool. This is great. We saw honey badgers. We saw
the accidentals.
We saw the accidentals. And it was great. And I was like, all right, that was very cool. And then you said, like, you didn't see nothing yet. And then you took me up over to the other side.
And I said, we have to hurry. And you were like, why are we hurrying? It's a cool day. I'm like, no, we got to run. We got to get to go see Tioga. And then we got to do the Tisberries.
Yeah. And what I love is that the shutting down of streets within Bethlehem.
Right.
And then later throughout the year, as I come back to Bethlehem, I'm just like, oh, I stood in the middle of that street and watched Tisberries. Or, hey, Tioga played a stage that was down at the bottom of this, like, random parking lot or something like that. It's interesting that when your introduction to the city of Bethlehem is through Musikfest, it's kind of interesting then to, like, put the pieces back together for, like, regular Bethlehem.
Exactly.
Our social media coordinator did a video, and you'll have to go back and find it from last year, but she basically held up pictures of, like, the festival overlaid with the regular scene, and it was just really
that was
cool
very cool.
Yeah,
that's
to
cool.
see what it looked like, and it like gives you so much context to it. And also, when you were, just to talk about 10 days of a festival, when you said what bands you were seeing, I was like, oh, okay, so you were here on Tuesday last year.
That's exactly right.
I'm like, I know when you were here. I knew that schedule. So I like put that out of my mind and memorized this year's schedule.
Yep, absolutely.
And one last question for Shane.
Yeah, go ahead.
After the fest is over, for how long do you continue to have dreams about the festival? Because mine, I wrapped at the mid end of May, and only a few days ago did I stop having side stage dreams. So
I get this, like, from having the shoulder mic, I feel like I hear static in my ear, and I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? Like, I have that for days. Like, I put my head down and I'm like, what's wrong?
What's wrong?
That's what I get from it.
You should just start wearing it in life, you know?
Leading up to the festival, I'll have dreams. I'll be like, oh my God, it's June. I haven't booked anything yet. Like I have
gosh.
Right. Yeah, like actor's nightmare type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that we do here on this show is for people who do want to, maybe get a little bit of the insight of, oh my gosh, 10 days and 450 bands is intimidating. The Tuesday prior to everything starting, so this year that'll be July 30th, we do something called the Musikfest Exordium, which is like our preview show, and we give kind of a rundown of the festival. We tell you our kind of picks of the must-see bands. We highlight the people who've been on the show before who are coming back. We call those returning favorites. And then we also talk about the weather because that's important when it's an outdoor festival. And we bring on some music acts, and there's always some other shenanigans and surprises. But it's a fun time, even if you're not local, just to kind of get into the vibe of what Musikfest is all about.
And there's apps, right? Like there's a
oh my gosh, the app for Musikfest is the best.
Yeah, the Musikfest, yeah.
There's Levitt app too. So
yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
You can do both.
The only thing I'll say though about the Musikfest app that's different is because it's necessary. It's this thing right here, and it allows you to kind of trigger of those 450 bands which ones you want to see, and it starts to build out your own personal little schedule day by day. And it blew me away the first year I used it, and then after that I was just like, now it's necessary.
It would have to be, yeah. I do want to give you props, Shayna, that of the Philadelphia acts that you guys booked for Levitt's stage, they're all near and dear to me. They're all people that I have great esteem for, especially a band like Stella Ruse, and who I can't remember some of the other ones that you had booked as well.
I'd have to
There's a
run
good
through-
bit of Philly bands, yeah.
Yeah,
With Brittany is Brittany,
Brittany
in
and
that?
Trambar's there for sure, yeah.
Excellent, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, it all runs together sometimes, both like in the lead up to the Summerfest and then like it never doesn't run together. Because then during it all runs together, and then afterwards you're just like, the heck did I just see? Like at the end of a summer, I'm not talking about even just like one specific festival, but like when you get like to the fall or even October, when that kind of like the crashing wave of that season, you have to sit there and just be like, the heck did I just do for the last 3 months? Like.
But Shayna, so we can follow Levitt SteelStacks on social media, and we can also follow Musikfest on social media as well. Anything else you would want to promote to make sure people stay plugged in?
No, I think you nailed it. The apps and the social media, that's going to be the best way to see those last minute cancellations when we have to put someone new in there
Right.
and stay up to date with everything.
Cool. Well, Shayna, thank you so much for joining today. Thank you for all that you do between the Levitt stage and the Musikfest, and year round too. We don't want to, downplay what happens outside of August and September and into the winter. But thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for acknowledging all that. We have a great team that does all this stuff, so I'm happy. I'm always overjoyed to hear that people are enjoying what's out there. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Nate and Dan.
Yeah.
Normally it's just
Phil.
me and David at this point, and I say David, and he says Phillip, and we just kind of like summarize what we learned today. But
We learned a lot of things
what
today.
did we learn today?
We learned
Music
that
rules.
Yes. There's a lot out there. I think probably the best thing to do is just tell people we're going to put links in the show notes for all of this. And this way, if you liked what you heard and you want to join for, I guess, me selfishly, and also it's the shortest fuse. This coming Sunday is the show with Shug Daniels and Mike Roy and the Secret People here in Bethlehem. And then also Wayne Musikfest is Saturday, the 8th. So those are the kind of more short-term stuff. And then after that, there's, as you heard, tons of amazing things that are going on throughout the entire summer here. And then, again, most likely, even if you're not from the Lehigh Valley, it's most likely coming to you as well.
Yeah, it's going to be an intense summer. It's funny. In the first couple of summers after the pandemic, we definitely saw a huge ramp up for just everything. And I think now, excuse me.
Are you okay? Are you choking? Nate, take over.
What he meant to say was
Before he started coughing uncontrollably. Hotel rooms are dry, everybody. They're dry. We saw, this ramp up, this great demand for return. I think we're starting to observe a little bit of a plateauing of that over the last year or so. But I think that is just, as I alluded to before in my rant, I think that's largely at the national level. And I think that if we can zero in on these communities, the Bethlehem arts community, the small festivals in and around Philadelphia, things even like later in the fall, like XPoNential and Philly Musikfest, there does not appear to be any waning demand for that. There does not appear, if anything, those festivals seem to be hitting it harder, getting better acts and getting better turnouts than maybe some of the other things that everyone would expect. And I don't think that that's a coincidence.
No,
I also think they're getting like the right acts. Like they're not overreaching. They're not trying to do something flashy to be like, here's someone who doesn't really kind of fit what our vibe is, but also, it'll headline or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, using something like XPoNential as an example, like I think the kind of severing from doing it tied to whatever we're calling the Camden Freedom Financial, whatever conglomerate,
whoever paid the most this month.
Yeah, but kind of focusing on Wiggins and kind of, just building around, not just national artists, but local artists that kind of perfectly represent the station and the community. These smaller festivals, man, they're more exciting to me than some of the bigger acts coming through. Not that those things don't excite me, but it's just that I'm starting to find that if I want to have a good time, I look at something like Sing Us Home. I don't know what you look for in a festival, but to me, Sing Us Home is the perfect sized festival to me. It's a little bigger than a small little pop up, but it's also not too big where it's unwieldy and you're kind of surrounded by people. The people who are there want to hear the artists that are there, and I respect that so much.
Yeah. And that's a good, Sing Us Home is what started us, and you brought up XPoNential. We didn't quite get there on purpose. We're probably going to try and come back September and do this again, kind of sum up the summer and head into the fall by talking about XPoNential, Philly Musikfest.
And there's more things too. There's always things going on even into the fall and winter. Arts Quest in Bethlehem always has a robust fall into winter concert booking. And then of course there's just all the independent clubs and venues that we all frequent. We've talked about, I don't know if we want to talk about anything non-festival that anyone's super psyched about this summer. Phil knows mine. The Montreal-based band Cola is playing Johnny Brenda's in July. And I am so incredibly hype for this band. More hype than I've been for a band in a while. It makes no sense. But I was so stoked to find that they existed, that they were coming to Philadelphia, and that they have a new record. So it's mid-July, Johnny Brenda's, the Montreal-based trio Cola. I have 4 tickets. One of them is for Phil. Who knows? One of them could be for you.
That's right. Call in
I'm
now.
talking to you, Nate. One of them could be for you, Nate.
And the 8th caller. The one band, and this will probably might be a shock for people, but at Milk Boy on July 27th, there's a rapper who's known as Open Mike Eagle.
I love Open Mike.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I think he's so good.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. There's a bunch of shows that I'm really excited for club wise, but one that I'll definitely shout out because it's a lot of our pals is the Philly Loves Wilco show. At Ardmore in 2 weeks is going to be absolutely incredible. Doing A Ghost Is Born for the 20th anniversary. And then on a kind of bigger stage, I'm super excited for this Beck with the Philadelphia Orchestra show.
Oh,
Man.
Yeah, it's the Man, yeah.
Which I'll go see Beck anytime he comes to town, but when I heard he was playing with the Philadelphia Orchestra, we're gonna get some really good stuff at that show. So
I forgot about that show. I'm so glad that you mentioned it.
That is July 25th. And
I gotta look into that. And the Man, you can go to the Man on any night, and even if you don't know anything about what's going to happen there, you should just probably go. It's one of the best outdoor venues in the country.
1,000%.
Yeah. That and just to kind of loop things around, the Man was the first place I saw Fish. So
nice.
We are just doing concentric circles at this point.
They're my favorite place to see them outdoors, actually.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
It's one of the nicest things. And it's not marred by the fact that they built that upper skyway seating area now, so you can't see the lights from the lawn quite the same. But, whatever. It's still a good time.
Whatever. So real quick, anything for your individual shows to promote of what's coming up? Because I already threw out there my Musikfest content, so I don't need to do mine.
What do you got, Phil? Nate, you guy over there.
Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna buckle up. Here we go. So currently, Yo, That's My Jawn, new episode out right now with Alex Wash from Grand Dogs. Great conversation.
My good friend. Yes.
Yeah. So that's Yo, That's My Jawn. Too Old, Too New with myself and Bruce Warren. Should be a new episode coming out. Well, it depends on if I edit it tonight, possibly tomorrow. And then Oops All Bards, the actual play podcast, is back from its long hiatus this Thursday. Picking right. That's right. No carrots. There are no carrots. Did I say that on the show? I think
no.
Okay. Thank you. You just gave me I was like, oh, okay. Yes. Carrot free. And then every Monday from 5 to 8, you can hear me on Why Not Radio, spinning the hot beats.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. And Dan, what do you got coming up?
Let's see. Most recent episode that's out right now is with Chris Casper. That came out, today's Tuesday. Today, yes. I've known of Chris and his music since forever. Since probably Helen Light played him on XPN Midday back in the day. And it was just incredible to finally, it's the joy of my show is that like these people come to my house and then we just like hang out and he played, music in my basement and it was just amazing. We had a great conversation. I'm quite happy about a past episode that I did with James Everhart from Cosmic Guilt. James is again a guy I've known of for a long time. It was great.
Who will come back again when we talk about XPoNential? They're playing that.
Cosmic Guilt. Do not sleep on the new Cosmic Guilt record.
No, the album's
Palace of Depression is. I was fortunate enough to have it in my queue for weeks before it came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the perks, y'all, of being Philadelphia's longest running music podcast.
He thinks.
You think?
I think. But I know it's definitely one of the perks, though. Is that I got to listen to that record like 15 times before it came out. And that was a good one. And to see them play at the upstairs, the First Unitarian Church last week was outstanding. And then an episode I have coming up to bring it in on a micro level. One of my favorite songwriters, period, which also happens to be someone that I know well, is a guy named Ben Hughes. He used to play, he plays under the band name Night Windows. He's been doing it for a long time. He's a dear friend, and I think just one of the greatest people to ever pen songs. He came over to the house last night. We recorded the interview, and then I immediately left town. So that is coming out soon. But like, again, talk about a band that if you haven't listened to them before, there's a lot of stuff out there. The last 2 Night Windows records are stellar. Like just some of the best songwriting I've ever heard in my life.
Awesome. Well, Dan Drago at 25 O'Clock Pod, Nate Runkle at Yo, That's My Jawn, and I am Phillip Reese at NextFavBand. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and thank you for coming on the show, and to all of our guests. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
hope to see you at one of these many, many live shows soon.
Yes.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Your Next Favorite Band and 25 O'Clock Pod and Yo, That's My Jawn. I will speak on behalf of them. They signed a legal proxy earlier that I could do that. And we would also like to thank our guests tonight, Jesse Lundy from Rising Sun Presents, Shug Daniels from Just Awesome, and from Shug Daniels, The Light of the World, and Shayna Super from ArtsQuest, Executive Director of the Levitt SteelStacks stage. We will be sharing tons and tons of links in the show notes to all of these various different things that we brought to you tonight. We hope you enjoyed what you heard and learned from the venues, from the artists, and we are hopefully perking your ears and inspiring you to go see these bands, many of which are free shows. But even if it's not, again, the best way to support these artists, if you like the music they're putting out, is to buy a ticket to their shows and purchase merch from them directly. As always, our hope is to bring you your next favorite band. If you happen to tune in tonight because you didn't ever hear of our show from perhaps two of the others, and 3 crossover, and then there's that Venn diagram in the middle, is now you. Now you can subscribe to all 3 along with, basically signing up for the newsletters of these other people. And then you can learn who your next favorite band is in a coming week. Or you might also be able to figure out who your next favorite band is because it's already out there. Hope to see you at a live show soon. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Nate.
Thanks.